All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Running the Gauntlet. This week we're going to be going over playoffs week 4, rounding out a lot of the losers bracket, though we haven't had losers final. I'm joined by the illustrious, fantastic, most amazing co-host Running the Gauntlet has
Mm.
had or will ever have, Luyten. Luyten, how you doing, man?
So to get compliments, I just had to lose. I get it now. Makes sense.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't beat you up on the week that you're eliminated out of the whole thing.
Yeah.
It seems bad.
Yeah.
Also, I just have to address it real quick. If you're wondering why I look like a newborn baby, we successfully pulled off a fundraiser of $1,500 for the GCS community, and a part of that was chat getting to shave my head. They did not choose to shave me bald. They made me look way, way worse, and I had to have a meeting with my CEO today. So I just went ahead and went bald for it all. So hopefully sooner rather than later, I'll look good again. Luton, how did you feel about the 24-hour stream?
I wish I saw it.
Oh, I'm realizing. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, I
also,
missed approximately like 20 hours of it, I'd say.
it's okay. There will be a video soon.
Less than that.
Video soon
Yeah.
recapping the highlights.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Oh.
there we go. Oh, wait, there we go. My shit broken.
Whoa.
Don't
Oh
worry
my.
about it. NA production. So here are the
Yep.
recaps for today. Naturally, we of course have the infamous Glue Factory is eliminated
Mhm.
game, which we will get into with a full in-depth analysis, and then a 2-0 from Group Therapy. Many people are starting to question if Pool 1 are frauds. So
Okay.
without further ado, we can start talking about
Hey.
Glue Factory versus AWB. That makes so much more sense on why that shit was broken. I was wondering what was
Oh my word.
It
How
is.
did that even happen?
I don't-
We started at the
I
end.
guess I was clicking like when I was setting up the stream and stuff, and I wasn't even
What?
recognizing it. It's just
Sure, yeah.
and we get fucked because it's just perfectly backwards from the
Yeah.
other. Anyway, we have no guest this week. It's just Luyten and I, so we can get his real in-depth and deep analysis on Glue
Sob
Factory
story coming
versus
out.
AWB. So we go into this game 1. Luyten, how are you feeling about game 1 in thought afterwards?
I actually don't really recall too much from this one. The big thing was like, holy shit, Ezreal with Infernal Soul and also just a Loon Ezreal. Pretty damn good. We ever chased it a few times. I think this was just a pretty close game. It could have gone either way, I would think.
Yeah, I think you
Um,
guys ping pong gold leads like crazy this game.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know. I think this was just a good game, and I hope it was a good game to watch. I flashed forward again and died for it. Not the first time, you would know.
Yeah. I would.
Unlucky.
I need
But
your first-hand account on the fact that the Aloon was a threat this game and was scary. Because I was saying that was true, and I was
for
getting
people,
called horrendous things for saying that.
yeah, no, that's crazy. Like Frosty was playing well, sure, but we have a Jarvan, so like we just press R on him when he doesn't have flash and he dies. It's pretty simple. And Ezreal is a little harder to play around, and I mean you can tell that from the damage chart alone. It's kind of insane.
Okay, then I have to do this for my own sake. You fucked, Bubbles. He said I was right, Bubbles.
Oh, I didn't know it was
forget the
bubbles. Oh,
evidence.
I might have to take that back now.
No, don't walk that shit back.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be the advocate for AWB throughout this whole process, but I want to hear your thoughts on how your team was feeling between each game. How did you feel in draft for this one, and then as it played? And
Yeah.
the obvious question I want to ask is, did you ever think Glue Factory is eliminated by AWB of all teams?
I personally was most scared of this weekend than the next weekend
Okay.
because AWB's kind of just new, different. You know, we it's harder to scout. It's just momentum as well.
Yeah.
But also the fact that it's a BO3. Like I think GT is the better team, and we'll get to that later. But I'm not as scared as it into GT because it's a BO5. This being a best of 3 made it a lot more scary to me.
So
Um,
a lot of people have been saying that, and I don't claim that that's wrong. I just want to kind of hear the analysis of like why is there more comfort in the BO5 than in the BO3? You think?
so if you remember to last week, Kat talked about how like each team can kind of beat each other and referred to matchups as being like 60-40, 70-30, and whatever.
Yeah.
If you think you are the better team, you are the 60-40, you inherently want a longer series because that 60% is more likely.
Okay.
It's like flipping a coin. The more you do it, the more it's going to be that actual 60-40.
And so
Well, obviously not for a coin, but
do you think if like the roles were reversed and you were meeting AWB in the BO5, GF would take it? Is that what you're saying, or do you feel that way?
yeah, I wanted to say it later, but like I think this is a 60-40 that we lost. I think if you look at the games, the two losses we had were pretty close back and forth, and the game we won was a disgusting stomp, albeit tilt and whatnot, and kudos to them for not staying tilted. But I think, yeah, like I think it's just a 60-40 we lost, and if we just reflipped it, maybe we win, maybe not. But this is what happens when you get to top 4 teams. It's just depending on the day. One team wins, another day the other wins.
Very fair, very fair. I mean, I have to say, just to glaze them for a second, I think that this game honestly felt like the strongest that we have seen AW play specifically. Like this game, one of the best of
Probably.
three. I think Sifra is a very welcome addition to AWB. I think he fills out the position of support a bit better than both Goku and June. And this Braum game specifically, Alun played great. He owes a lot of his success to his own skill, but it felt like just as much to the engages that Sifra was finding and the defense that he was playing for AWB. He was definitely a menace. Did you feel that way? Because there were a lot of times you ran at him.
Sifra was probably the biggest change, if I could be honest. I think Frosty's pretty comparable to... I'm blanking. Pior. He's maybe a bit more aggressive, a bit more coin flip. But I think that's not that big of a deal for AWB.
Yeah.
I don't think they needed coin flip or anything. I think Sifra's champ pool is a much bigger change for AWB, for sure.
100%. And also it's, AWB was in a weird spot where technically Woof Woof was the best fifth for their team. June and Goku were lower. And so replacing a player that you weren't playing in your best fifth slot with a player that is in the role you need them with definitely shored up their roster a lot. Not to say that you guys didn't play well, though. You're
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It does kind of suck to, like roster shifts this late in the season, but it's something to consider in the future. So I'm not that mad about it now. So
yeah, Luyten's got to cope, guys.
Yeah.
He's saying it's the rules team fault. He's saying it's my fault.
Dude, I hate those rule guys. Who lets them do that?
Yeah,
shit?
all the rule guys smell really bad and should take a shower.
Yeah.
But I mean, your Corky played really, really good this game, and we got to see the classic Luyten running past his frontline moments a lot this game. And sometimes you won. A lot of times you did absolutely insane damage. I think there's a clip this game.
Yeah, like 1v4 in their jungle.
Yeah, and Alun like flickers away, and he's just deleted by the time he appears on the other side.
Yeah.
You were really, really strong for what doesn't feel like you should. Like, you're 10-6, so you should be strong. But you were doing a lot of damage into like a Braum TK, even to those guys, and it doesn't feel like they should really be taking any damage into you.
Yeah, I think this was probably my best series of playoffs, which is where I'm like, happy. I'm not too upset to lose because I think I did my part, and
yeah,
I think we played okay. I think AWB deserved it, so it helped the emotions a little bit,
How do you feel about go ahead.
The big thing was it wasn't enough damage though, and that's where coming into game 2 draft, we had a couple of things. One was getting Drysicle picked earlier, so he isn't on a tank.
That was the next question I had. Yeah.
And the other one was to get me on more of a DPS because we realized they mainly just play beefcakes plus 2 carries and just raw team fight. They don't draft for side lanes. That was our big thing, was we recognized they don't play side lanes at all. Yeah. They just ignore it. Promech is just with his carry most of the time, and they just lose on the sides a lot. And I think we did it really well this game. Also a disgusting Sylas angle, to be fair. But the Blitz and the Sylas just like constantly threatening the sides. I just AFK'd a little bit mid and let my team do the trick. I think Naki 1v3'd maybe a little consecutively.
Yes.
But like this game was just a stomp. And I think this was like the correct draft adaptation and whatnot. And where I get my cope in saying that we had a 60-40 because this was not close unlike the other games. Loon did say he was tilted though, and I think I don't remember. Somebody said they were deafened. I don't know if it was this game or the other game. Maybe both. Probably
Potentially
both.
This one was like
it was definitely the other series.
This was a crazy series to watch. Real quick, I have to just throw a shot at Promech. Promech famously said on the Running the Gauntlet episode that he was the guest that he figured Drysicle out and that he would, one, never lose the lane again, which he did lose here on his OTP.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you can't say you figured someone out when your strategy is to just triple or quadruple ban them. You did not beat that player like that. You didn't figure that
Genius.
guy out. You just,
Why didn't we think of that sooner?
Like, you just took away the champions he plays. And I was happy to see the rebound here. Drysicle plays it amazing. I think in my commentary of this game, I was like, you have to have Drysicle for this team on something that can just beat the shit out of player. His Ornn last game, no offense to Drysicle, I'm going to say something crazy. I think you would have had a better time last game having VLN on Ornn for your team than Drysicle. It just doesn't fit his playstyle almost at all.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. I didn't notice like Drysikle's play personally, but like it's definitely very different from his standard, so I could see it.
Yeah, then
we also took a book from PP's page, Blitzcrank, great for side laning. So
yeah, 100%. I was like, I think my exact quote was Pandemonium thinks he's Levi now, or that Levi left such a scar on you guys that he started practicing it.
No, it was just we wanted to abuse sides, and it was the best pick for that.
This is where I come to you with a interesting revelation, though. So here recently, for some upcoming things that we're planning, I've been looking back at all of the old drafts for GCS and formerly VLN. And did you know that you have been a Jinx merchant for over 2 years now? Because in your finals game as Giggling Goats, you were actually jailed to Jinx duty
Jinx?
as well. Yes, every series that you were in and you could pick it, you picked it.
I've joked, even just like recently, that every tourney I go, I just end up being on B1 Jinx again. To my credit, the only game we won in that grand finals was on my Lucian. So like, I don't know, man.
You're hoping that they let you off the hook to be. I do want to ask about your agency on your team because, I don't mean this as flame. It definitely felt like with this team, you weren't the carry. You were a carry, but you weren't the carry. So I don't know if you had as much agency as you wanted, or if they were like, "No, Luyten, you're playing Jinx. If you carry, you carry. If you don't, you don't." You know what I mean?
In draft, it kind of ends up that way because you just want to give counter to your top laner and your support.
Yeah.
And like ADC doesn't matter a lot. It does suck to be one Jinx a lot. I cannot lie. But I'm fine taking it for the team. It was not. I could have fought more for it if I wanted, and I just didn't need to. Is all, or feel the need to. Naki kind of just let us pick whatever we felt in draft within reason. If I said Ziggs, he probably would deny me, but you know. Well, that's okay.
He is the man of the hour in this game. This was Naki's best game of the entire tournament. This guy is crazy. I didn't even know he could play Sylas.
Lulu Swain Amumu ults on a Sylas is pretty terrifying.
GG. Especially
but
Sifra
he played
Sylas.
it really well.
Aware. Yeah. No offense, Sifra. Stick to playing engages, buddy. All right. Don't play the enchanters. A collective 1-in-13 bot lane is crazy. It is a crazy stat line. And notice, ADC Aphelios taking L's.
Yeah. Just that champ just can't win. Unfortunate.
Yeah, this was just like a stomp. Everyone on GF played well. If you're listening, you're like, why aren't they glazing me? God forbid we have to sit 20 minutes on one game to glaze all 5 members of one team. Phenomenal performance from everyone. Oh, that was the other thing. I thought that AWB, as we jump back real quick, horrible like ban set. They really focused, like banning the Pike is fine, or even good even. Banning the Pantheon prevents a good flex, so that's fine. They really focused on the Darius. I think that was Promech's.
Yeah.
I've figured him out. But to see you guys get Set, which is a great counter into the TK because the TK was picked earlier, Sigil on his one trick, and you on your one trick is like,
well,
God picked y'all to win. You know what I mean?
We realized they were going to blind pick top lane first 3, and we would just counter it R3, and we ran into that same. Well, no, I think he blind picked the TK the next game too, where we just realized just pick top lane in the first 3, and he doesn't get quad banned. Like it's not that hard.
Yeah, it's the perfect counter to the counter. Yeah, I mean, one-sided
So I think,
stomp. Or go ahead.
draft-wise, I think we were doing fine, and maybe they could have. I think their bans were fine the second game, but I don't know if they should have been blinding TK.
Well, it's Promech on his OTP. You know what I mean? I think.
Yeah.
I do think Promech on TK is a bit overvalued for AWB. If they want a chance to, excuse me, I had to burp, play for a win, I think Promech needs to be pretty low on their pick priority. If it happens, like if you get it R3 maybe, or B3, it's fine. Not necessarily bad. But I really don't think there's a world where, just because I think TK is pretty exploitable by some of the better top laners. Like left is CC Swift, he likely won't exploit it. So, you're fine. Play into it how you want. But Peter Griefer, a tank main, definitely knows how to exploit that pick. And I don't think you want to give that up so quick.
But that's you say like draft resources for him, but it's like picking him early can be resources, but it's also giving resources of counters to others. So it just depends on what you want from your other players. So sometimes the early blind is good, sometimes not so much, I think.
Fair. I suppose we'll see how they continue to adapt as we look into this third game, which you'll notice the repeat 3 bans again, which from them I find very interesting. I was saying this on cast. Why are we banning Gwen? Is that Frosty's preferred champion?
No, that was Yoshi's.
Did not.
We almost banned the Lilia. He's been spamming it in solo queue, I think. I did not scout like any series.
No. Go back.
I was not the homework player.
VLN famously said, if you don't do your homework against new AWB, you will lose. Luton's admitting he didn't do his homework. People say I didn't.
My team did.
People are saying I just make shit up, Luton. They just say I make shit up.
Right. Of course.
But yeah, as you were saying about Yoshi.
Yeah, he's been spamming it, but we knew we were either going to ban Lilia or Gwen, but based off our comp, we figured Gwen would be more of a problem. And I think that's still probably the right choice. I don't think this Lilia was that crazy of a problem, realistically. It was kind of just Frosty and Loon, if we're going to be 100% honest. And this one, I don't know. This one we threw away, if we're going to be honest. They were, at the end of the game, they were pushing us in with the inhib down on bot, and they were just 4-manning mid. And I talked about earlier, we knew our win con was side lanes and just abusing that. And they didn't have Baron, nothing. So we could have just cleared waves. I'm Jinx with Runins. Like, it's not that hard. We send somebody side lane, kind of relieve the pressure. It's okay. We just fucking full sent it. I'm not fully sure why. It was not a great angle. They have a TK and a Misfortune with Flash. It's not great.
Yeah.
And like there was no objective up. If we won it, I don't think we even win the game. So I think we kind of just panicked and folded under the pressure a little bit.
Yeah.
It happens. And like I think to credit AWB, they did put us in that situation by pressuring us in those 2 lanes. I think we responded incorrectly, not they didn't deserve it,
Yeah, we should get the clip. Maybe we can get the editors to edit in this clip of this final team fight to kind of correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, right.
I put a lot of
editors.
The onus on Drysicle in this moment because to my mind, I think he looked for the engage because I believe he just starts with Showstopper. And I believe the whole point was for him to get onto the back line and just hold a Loon from ulting. I think that was the concept in his mind. And I've been there as a set player. Like if it's a carry ADC,
MF didn't have ult though.
Oh, maybe that's true.
That's not necessary because she just ulted me like 30 seconds beforehand.
That's fair. Well, I'll editor's note, put in this team fight clip for review. For my speculation is that I think Drysicle felt the pressure in the moment of we're just getting forced down, we're losing. I have a chance to get on the carry, and if I get W, I beat MF. There's no amount of kills Misfortune can have that a set W doesn't just absolutely delete her. And then if he dies, it doesn't matter. Maybe you guys win out. Because y'all had been winning team fights, as like we'll jump back to the gold
Yeah,
graphs one
it
more
was
time.
back and forth.
There was strength there, like for chances. And I think it's
It's
just one
really
of those
just
you press
if
R
I
and
got
then
to
you feel
reset.
regret.
Yeah, it was like everybody full sent it, and I didn't really get fully involved.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a misplay on my end or what, but I think it was a bad angle from the short VOD review we did. And like I said, I think the right play was play it slow, just clear waves and whatever. So
Definitely
I
fair.
don't know. I'm still not sure like which team outscales 100%. So like maybe it wasn't fine playing too slow. There's a lot of question marks, but wrong mistake or wrong choice for sure. And it's a bummer, but
Yeah, I mean,
it
I
got to
don't
take it.
I don't know much about Jace as a champion, but it definitely feels like on paper you guys outscale. Especially
I
like
don't know.
I think that you'll be pretty competent because I assume Jinx just
Jinx definitely
outscales
outscales
MF.
MF.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's a pretty easy one.
And I feel like Lissandra definitely outscales Jace. Like that's my I don't know Jace well enough to say that is 100% fact. That's purely how I feel about it.
I think into an MF in a Lilia, it definitely would. Like even if it's not at the same damage output, the value it gets in just locking down one of those two is a lot more than Jace poke. I think.
That's fair.
Especially I was going to go for BT after or whatever. That poke can lose value with the right itemization as well.
But the big tech here, not to just be the set Andy, is Drysicle in this matchup. Set should never be like this strong in comparison to a Malphite ever. But the fact that he was, and they had 4 squishies on opponent team, if he specs Sterix, Bloodlord, stuff like that, his W just becomes a mini misfortune ult. And I do think resets like happen like that for you guys.
Yeah, but there was one fight where we almost lost, and then him and Naki like 2v4'd, albeit they had like no ults and stuff. It wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
But it was still a pretty crazy moment and like saved the game in a way for us. So it definitely happened, but just not in the end.
I'm gonna scrutinize Drysicle again for a second. Drysicle is one of my goats. I think he's one of the best players we picked up, not just in skill, but as a guy throughout this tournament. But this build is also just fucking crazy. He should never win this. The secret tech for Set versus Malphite is you go Ravenous, so you don't just lose into Q spam, and you can then build into like
Ravenous would have been great here, yeah.
Sunder Sky, the one that like heals on hit. If you want to go into that, gives you a lot more sustain. But Cleaver here is kind of fine, but it's really only for the Malphite. Like I don't even think you really need to care about the Malphite. Wait, and then Hullbreaker here is just absolutely horrendous. No offense, Tricycle. Set does not need Hullbreaker. If you're playing split Set, which he wasn't even really, it's just kind of overkill. Your hit combo, like your auto combo with Qs, does so much damage that you don't really feel Hullbreaker.
Well, I don't think you're not factoring the cannon buff there for sure, but that's not a split push build. So I think if he went Ravenous instead and then had a Hullbreaker, I think that makes a little more sense to me.
He never, and maybe it's game state, but I feel like if you're allotting the resources into Hullbreaker on Set specifically, you're saying to your team, I have to be in the side lanes. I'm giving team fights her goals. And it never really felt like that happened, even with the Hullbreaker.
Yeah, that's fair.
If that's a Steraks,
that build doesn't fully align.
Same exact build, but Steraks, even if he doesn't do the Ravenous, Steraks here, Alune does nothing because MF now has to deal with the fact the Set will just walk forward in MF ult and press W on an idle character because Steraks will keep him alive.
Yeah, I guess that would. I didn't even think about that.
But that's my VLN plays one character and thinks about the game in one dimension. So when it comes up, I get to say things.
You get the input for once.
Yeah. All in all, it was a great series. I'm glad I got to be the one to commentate it. Admittedly, I was actually very surprised by the results. Even in this game, I kind of thought you guys had it. And then that team fight right at the end, I was like, oh, it's just gone. I think if you watch it back, my brain doesn't even register
we just
that the game is over before it's over.
But it was very sudden for sure.
AWB a huge threat though, just absolutely proving to be insane.
Alune kind of smurfed it this series, and the 3 remaining ADCs are the best 3 ADCs in the tourney.
Yeah, I think
Maybe look into that mods.
we're learning that in comp play it is decided by your ability to keep your ADC alive. Not necessarily that it's decided by the ADC themselves, but
Well, yeah, because like, how did I get here? I shouldn't have gotten this far if that's how it works, you know.
well, I think Pandemonium did a good job of keeping you alive. For the most, you don't think so?
I think we need to give a little more credit to Naki. You know, that guy's pretty good.
No, Naki gets glazed too much, bro. I'm trying to pass it around. You know.
Yeah, that's fair. No, Pandemonium is really good. I loved playing with them. By far the best challenger / GM player, support player I've played with, which is more than one.
It's good to know.
So
he's humble bragging right there, chat.
yeah. I get carried a lot in tourneys. Real great humble brag.
We rolled this out. Or go ahead. Go ahead.
Roll out the red carpet.
We gave it to Happier Cat last week.
Great team.
For you, anyone you want to call out, like specific things you want to say, feel free to.
I don't want to like go through each member of my team and glaze them. You know, I think they all know I liked them all and we played well and didn't end how we wanted to, but like we were one game away from grand finals and stuff, so we shouldn't take it too poorly. And sorry, but if I have to glaze a member, it's Naki. I think he was a great captain, great player, great person this season. So I hope to see him captain again in the future.
I hope so as well. I'll say it openly and publicly. I think Luyten will agree with me on this. I do think PV to performance, Naki is hands down the best mid laner.
Yeah.
I think it's not even close to second place. I think he gaps PV to performance as your metric. Everyone
maybe
listen
Darkle,
to that.
but yeah.
No, that guy did solo kill Naki. Hold on, the power scaling is like, hold on. I hope to see him.
Naki got his comeback though, so like, or his get back.
As we move in, speaking of Nova Chrysalis with Darkle, we can move on to the next game, GT versus Nova Chrysalis. Many people calling Group Therapy assassins with how they're playing these games out since getting knocked to lower bracket in kind of an unconventional way against Glue Factory of all teams. I always forget that y'all were the ones that knocked them out and how hectic that game was.
That was a weird one.
Did you watch this series while it was live?
Not too much. Live now. No.
Okay. These games were kind of ridiculous, start to finish.
Yeah.
As we'll jump now to after looking at pick bans in gold. Riddy, this game, I think gets the 2 kills he has pretty early on a bot side gank. And it starts off very swimmingly for Nova Chrysalis, in my opinion. And I walked away for probably 10 minutes to cook lunch at the time. And I come back and STL Slayer is a literal chainsaw. They are using every resource in their kit. At one point, Banana is literally flash stridebreakering, using everything, like Luyten level PTSD. STL is tanking everything and then just killing them. And a large part of that is also owed to Dumpling. I personally think they STL and Dumpling tie Levi and Riddy in terms of the connection between supports. Like that bond specifically is just exactly equal. And STL just gets the free hit this whole game after, and Riddy never comes online. Biomatrix and Gourmet Cookies just absolutely flattened. And it was like a Kog'Maw 1v9 straight up.
At least in my opinion, I think these are just like absolute draft caps. I think GT's kind of got a pretty established identity and how they want to play the game, and it's what they've been playing.
Yeah.
And then you look at and it's like Riddy's new, so it's a bit different, but that's an abomination of a draft. If different, I said Riddy, did I not?
You said Riddy is different.
Riddy is new,
yeah, we're fucking him up. We're fucking him up live, chat.
Oh my god. I don't know. That draft is it's a little bit all over the place, and I don't think, like, I know Biomatrix plays a lot of Kai'Sa and he's good at it, but I don't think they played it all season, pretty much.
Yeah.
It did just get buffed, but like you gotta stick with what's worked. And even if you have a new jungler, I think Riddy could have played a similar role to Billy, if not better, in a certain champ or scenario or whatever.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see like Riddy on Kindred at all, especially with this comp. I think you hit draft gap like nail on the head here. Why are we letting Hamea be sole AP for the team? Um, and why are we running double ADC like with hopes that we can just what do you even do with double ADC with Kaisa Kindred when you're playing against a team that just openly says, like you said, identity wise, we're a team fight team. We're gonna play to 2 items.
Yeah.
You can abuse us until 2 items, and then we're gonna fight you 5v5 and just blow you all up.
Also, ideally, if you have double ADC, you want a little enchanter support more than just raw. It's a weird mixture. You got like raw dive, and then you got Kindred and Victor. I don't know. It's a weird mixture for sure.
Yeah, I do have to step up on a soapbox real quick to say, one, Hamea actually played the series surprisingly well into Kessler.
Yeah.
He played lane great. I think Hamea's also been performing pretty highly. Sometimes he has off games, but overall, I do think this has been his best season. And also publicly, I guess for the first time ever, according to how this guy says I talk about him, Zhao Long, also one of the best pickups this tournament in terms of skill. He has been playing crazy. I'm glad to see him rebound on his Vi game here after the elimination series against you guys, where his Vi, everyone said his Vi was going to be 1v9, and I think he goes 1-8 in the game.
I'm still convinced he gave his little brother the PC against us. Like, I don't know. There's no way.
I do think if Zhao Long continues to play in GCS, if you're listening, Ilias, I think he'll make top 3 junglers for certain. I like seeing him compete against Riddy here. He kept up very, very well despite Masters versus GM, and he's had great performances all season. I think people like Riddy, Reborn, if he comes back, need to be really concerned about the Masters jungler trio that is TV, Hyper Dragon, and Ilias, because I think those 3 are really, really scrappy and load into these games against GMs wanting to beat the shit out of them, and they play at a higher level because of it.
Yeah, I think it makes sense, and they usually should have a better supporting cast to kind of abuse that as well.
100%. And then we can jump to this second game, which is like, so this first game, I think you can see it in the gold graph. Like Nova Chrysalis had a chance. They were playing until STL just literally the team fight that wins this. You should go watch it. It's actually hilarious. How many resource flashes, ults, everything onto STL. Dumpling presses the R key, counters it all, and STL just chews through them. I think
surely diving into those 5 champs is a great idea. Yeah.
I think this gold graph is actually a little deceitful, because even though they had this much gold, by like the 20-minute mark, STL was just going to win the game for them. And the second game, I'm sure you've seen the screenshot. There's a screenshot circling of Nova Chrysalis, multiple members leaving the call in the middle of the game, or teams, some members being muted and deafened. I believe that this series was over the moment the first game of this series was over.
Yeah,
because
we've been saying about NS, and I think, maybe it's our fault for saying it, but I think it kind of proved itself here.
And it's,
I don't know.
I'm sad for Riddy.
Again, another horrible draft. Yeah, Riddy, this guy lost on 2 teams. Holy moly.
Yeah, the only player in GCS history to be eliminated twice in one season.
Well, no, it's the only player to be eliminated twice, period.
True. He did play really, really well this series, though. And I think that this was just a team gap game. Like, I think if this would have been the first game, I think the second game wouldn't have been a stomp, because they wouldn't have been as tilted with this loss as they were with the first game.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because there was definitely more counterplay throughout the whole thing. But again, Zhaolong's Kane, absolutely crazy. I think there's literally a clip of him 1v3ing mid ADC jungle in this game. Kane champion is not balanced. And also, for the first time, I've seen Ashe be anything more than a support ADC. I didn't know it was possible.
That champ can do damage. It's surprising.
I don't know, man. Okay. We know that losers final is GT versus AWB. Mm-hmm. Who do you think wins the matchup?
Okay, so I've thought about this a good bit already. My brain says GT, but my heart and my ego says AWB for Pool 1 and the team that eliminated me, you know?
Yeah.
So I'll go with AWB for now,
Okay.
just for the sake of it.
I've been.
I think it's a 3-game series, or
five game series,
right?
yeah.
I think it's a 5-game series.
I have been having a crisis of faith over this game because I want Pool 1 to be in the finals, but I've been a GT supporter. And I think I have to say publicly, because it's a best of 5, I'm actually still going to give it to group therapy. And if any of you are listening and think that PP versus GT being the finals means that Pool 2 was stronger, then you objectively do not understand how to power scale. And quite frankly, you're stupid. Yes, I'm talking to you, Rambo, when you're typing on that computer in this Twitch chat today. All right? When you're like, well, actually, Pool 1 has to be that strong because PP's that strong. That's not how power scaling works, okay? If your team is 100 out of 100 strength and every other team is 1 out of 100, total together, you're 107 strength. If every Pool 3 team, or Pool 1 team, excuse me, is like 50 PV, we're so much stronger. That said, I do think it's going to be GT versus PP in the finals.
I think like people would generally agree the top 3 was GF, GT, PP, and I'm hoping AWB, after beating us, can prove that they deserve a top 4 spot, which would be 2 Pool 2 teams, 2 Pool 1 speeds. And I think next in line is obviously NS. So I think it's still, like, I don't think it's just Pool 2 sweep. Albeit that depends on the loser finals. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see that. I'm very sad that I will not be commentating that game. I hope the series goes well. But we can jump to...
I didn't realize that.
The analysis, because it's Saturday into Sunday. I've actually talked to both AWB and group therapy already. Just so you guys know, losers finals, the best of 5, is Saturday at, this says 2 p.m.
This is mine.
Yeah. I don't think this is meant to say 2 p.m., by the way. It's meant to say noon.
That's 1. So that's noon your time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So noon CST, Saturday.
Maybe I need to fix that for graphics. Okay.
Yeah, versus AWB, best of 5. Whatever team wins will immediately play another best of 5 the next day, Sunday at 2 p.m. for grand finals. There is no bracket reset. The rules explicitly say that and what we're doing instead. If you have questions, comments, or concerns about that, leave it somewhere. We'll file it away for next season. We've already started working on rules. This guy right here, pointing down at Luyten, is working every day hard to get it in. But there is no bracket reset. It will be 1 best of 5 to decide it all. And the losers bracket, this is, for lack of a better word, the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet is losers finals into grand finals. If you want to win it from losers bracket, you have to suffer through that chain game, those chain best of 5s.
That's also where I think AWB's got a nice little storyline of going all the way through losers. So
it would be nice
for them to win.
The best cinematic victory, right?
Roster thing, yeah. So, not Pool 1 biased. Nope, not one bit.
Not even in the slightest.
Nope.
That will round us out for week 4 analysis for the first time in playoffs. The final screen is correct. So shout out, Luyten for that one.
I learned from my mistakes. It only took me 3 weeks.
This is where we have a couple of announcements. So don't click off yet, okay? It's short because there were only 2 games, but stay for a minute. Number 1, Luyten and I will be running the Gauntlet live the Tuesday after finals. So rather than these recorded sessions that go up on YouTube, we'll be doing our recap, talking with chat, and hopefully bringing on guests from chat for a little bit to talk about, their season, their recaps and whatnot. Meant to be more of a season in review, right, Luyten? That's what we're going for?
Ideally, but we could shift that to another one in theory if there's enough content from just the 2 games plus having in a bunch of players. So
100%.
I think we play it by ear.
I'm actually really excited for that. I think it'll be
fun.
A good chance to be very interactive, kind of round things out. We will also be, and I'm announcing this live, so Luyten has to do it. I'm kind of an asshole for this one.
Oh, no.
A live pre-show to the grand finals on Sunday. Should be live about an hour before, where we'll have some of the goats of the community come on, do their analysis, kind of ESPN caster style. I'm hoping Luyten will be there to do it. I'm hoping that he'll let me on there to do it as well.
I I might be passing out at that point. We'll see.
Whoa, wait, what? Wait, hold on. Wait.
I thought we were doing the 24-hour stream
Oh,
starting after the Saturday game.
yeah, your last hour of your 24-hour stream could be that.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I might be falling asleep at that point.
Well, I didn't fall asleep
We'll
at
see.
that point. I was very much
Yeah.
awake at that point. I preemptively
I'll-
fell asleep. You know what I'm saying?
I'll manage. We'll figure it out.
That is the next announcement. So you're locked in.
I should be good for that.
So what is
Just
your time range for your 24-hour stream?
I figured I'd just copy yours. We're starting after the loser finals. Well, or starting with loser finals, I guess.
So you're gonna cast Saturday?
Oh, who do I? If I can get somebody, yeah, I guess so. If
You
not,
could
I'll
reach-
start it after.
You could reach out to Score. He should be down. I've already asked him
Yeah,
if he was
there's probably
going to.
options. I'll look around.
Sounds good. So yeah, Luyten's 24-hour stream. We're actually content machining this week. Luyten 24-hour stream. Geeky, not to put him on the spot as well because he's going to be listening to this, is working on a YouTube breakdown
Recap.
of the recap of the 24-hour stream, all the highlights, all the best moments for you to go watch and enjoy the fun that we had. Again, thank you.
It's missing
guys so
some of
much
the
for
best
it.
moments, I think.
I'm
But,
just,
you know,
I'm
that's for
hoping he
different
puts
reasons.
Ricardo's ass cheeks in there. Straight up. I can't even lie. I want Ricardo's ass cheeks to be in.
I don't know how that works on YouTube. We'll see.
You know, as long as we're not banned on Twitch, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay, fair.
And then, lastly, the largest announcement, and I'm gonna announce this, and then I'm gonna let Luyten yap because I think he's gonna be way smarter than me at it. Correct me if I'm wrong on the dates that we picked, but GCS is going to be attempting to push out some comp pre-made 5v5 teams to go be representative members of the GCS community in comp tournaments. So your job will be winning games and tournaments in our name. And we as an institution will pay for your admission fee into these tournaments for you to go compete. I personally have some conditions that are associated with this that I want to go over, which is one, we will be covering your admission fee. And if you don't win, that's fine. We'll continue to pay for them in the future if you keep playing. But anytime you win, if a GCS team goes on and win, we will be taking the admission fee for the tournament out of the prize pool before we administer it to the players. Just that way we can, it's an infinite money glitch. You know what I mean? We can pay for it continuously. Two, every member of a GCS comp team will have to participate in at least one GCS draft league a year. It's looking
Which
like
should be out of 3 or 2.
it's looking like it's going to be 2 full ones, and maybe we do something fun at the end of the year. I'm not going to count the one at the end of the year, though, straight up. It would just have to be one of the 2 full tournaments.
Maybe if some teams want to do salty runbacks, we could test that.
That would be great. And
That'd
maybe
be fun to do, like top 4 teams from both seasons or something.
And then if no team wants to, or we can also throw
There
the
might be
comp teams
overlapping.
in there too, where it's like,
Oh yeah.
maybe that's good. Just
We'll
something to
cook
round
on it.
out
We'll
the end
cook
of the
on
year. Yeah. And then 3, and Luyten, I hope you pulled up the dates in our DMs that we said, because I'm going to fuck them up otherwise.
Yeah.
There will be an open tryout. So the way that this is going to work is every different comp league divides its players into ELO groups, right? And so everyone who signs up, everyone in GCS is welcome to sign up, will be divided into their respective ELO groups and then put onto a series of 5-man teams, different players every time to the best of our abilities, with signups, to play games for us to test your skill, your ability to work with other people, react and adapt, everything that can be associated with it. Luyten, what time frame did we give for that?
We'll announce these signups April 9th, and then the actual games should be the 18th, 19th, and 20th of April.
Okay, yeah, that's
Friday through Saturday.
That's
Friday through Sunday.
I'm in.
That's
May
the week
right now.
after.
That's why everything doesn't make sense to me. I was looking in the May month, and I was like, okay, yeah, that would be. That's
You also threw the 16th in there, but I'm not really sure what that's announcing the schedule.
Yeah, that will be when we tell you your teams of 5, so you can start talking to people. You'll see which teams of 5s you're playing against. We currently have budgeted enough money within this time frame to put up 3 teams, whether that is 3 all-in-one ELO, or we put some maybe in the Emerald League, some in the Diamond League, some in like the Masters Plus League, things like that. We're actively working as a team to look at all of the potential options for competitive leagues to be in.
Realistically, it just depends on signups, though, of course.
Yeah.
So
very excited to see how it all goes. And the fourth and final condition is that if we pay for you, you can't lose games. Sorry, if you join our comp team, we don't want teams that lose.
I'm getting kicked out.
Shame. Just get out there, go win. And there's also a chance, and Luyten, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Like if we only have 5 signups, let's say for I'll just use PP as an example as a team. Let's say their core 5, which are like masters and above or whatever, masters some other LP. Like if we only get 5 in that branch, the like GM masters branch, that might just be the team that we play with if we can't make other teams. So it's definitely up to signups, as Luyten said. No one is inherently guaranteed a spot, no matter how much like you are connected to us. You have to go to these tryouts, signups, talk to people. There definitely are some benefits to already being in the community and already having experience playing with people. So the other thing to announce is that after this tournament, the draft league, so after April 6th, we will be getting the in-house championship again for you to get out there and go start making friends, connecting with people, getting to understand them, kind of developing an identity with players. And fingers crossed, I need to talk to June. We might be giving away a ticket to MSI as the winner's first place event.
I think we should.
Yeah, I think I don't. She bought it.
It might not be for finals day. It might be for the loser finals, but we should have.
Or I meant for the in-house championship.
No. I'm saying it's losers finals. As of right now, it's a losers finals ticket.
Not a grand finals. Yeah,
but it's still.
But a free ticket to MSI. So, please consider. I'll probably make an event for this right after this recording. Starting on April 7th, GCS In-House Championship Season 2 will begin. Go Q Custom. Start developing an identity within the community outside of just the draft team that you played with. Anything else? Anything else, Luyten, you're thinking?
You mentioned like PP signing up. I don't know how that would work with lower rank play. I don't know if a diamond player can play in the 600 LP cap league. Yeah. Obviously, it was just an example, but
yeah, it was just because if I would have just started naming off high-elo players from the top of my head, it would have just inadvertently ended up being PP. But like we could technically do like Sprinkler, Riddy. Who's our highest elo mid now?
Gumby or Naki.
We could do Gumby. That would be crazy.
I think it's Naki, which is kind of crazy.
Wait, there's no shot. How is Naki higher elo than Gumby?
No. I wasn't counting Gumby.
Oh, okay. Or I guess if you want to count Frosty, maybe there's Frosty.
I don't know if Gumby's over the 600 LP cap.
He probably is. You know, he's only a challenger peaker, I learned. Guy's not even a challenger player. But
that guy sucks.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's running the Gauntlet playoffs recap week 4. Super mega awesome, amazing season.
Might be sub-hour for the first time.
We definitely are. We're at 48 minutes. Luyten, round us out. You get to do the outro this week.
Oh, man. I don't know. I'm just excited for these games. It'll be a fun 24-hour stream, hopefully. I'm open to ideas on games and stuff during that. So I guess we'll just see everybody then.
Goodbye.